Back in the early 2000s, I was working on a government initiative that was helping individuals, teams and organisations improve work-life balance. 100% of the individuals that came through those programmes felt that their lives were better, more meaningful, more fun and more balanced as a result of the work that we did with them. I'm going to share with you on this video what we did. Let's get started. Hi, this is Simon Phillips. Welcome to my show. This week is all about work-life balance. Now, I know work-life balance is coming in for a lot of criticism at the moment from people who think there is no such thing. And on one level, I agree with them, but I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to start though by talking about what is work-life balance. In simple terms, work-life balance is when my work and my activities outside work feel like they work for me. And all I mean by that is my life feels relatively balanced, relatively fun, relatively normal, relatively? It's relative because I'm always judging myself against my peers, against my family, against my friends. And I shouldn't be. The fundamental thing about work-life balance is it's personal. Is my life working the way I would like it to? Is my work and my activities outside work aligned to my own personal priorities? Because if they are, then I'm likely to feel that my life is in balance. When it's out of balance, it's obvious because maybe I'm spending too much time in doing one or other of those things, either stuff that's related to my work or things that are related to my other parts of my life. And so it gets out of balance when we perceive it to be out of balance. There may be judgments, there may be perspectives from others around us that feel our life is out of balance at times. But as long as we feel it's okay, it is okay. But I will come back again later to think about the perceptions of those who are nearest and dearest to us, because that is really important if we prioritise them in our lives. Okay, so what are the problems with work-life balance? For many, their work is a huge part of their lives, and they don't necessarily differentiate between the two. Those clever people that have worked out how to make work fun, how to make work meaningful, how to enjoy every moment of their working lives, they're the ones who feel like there's no clear distinction between the two. And that's okay, because what they've done is redefined work and life. And so they're not trying to balance those, they're trying to integrate them and weave them together in ways that make real sense to them. Another problem with work-life balance is when companies or individuals feel like they need to apply blanket solutions. So for example, when we were doing that work with the government and the local government bodies, they wanted to put in place blanket solutions around flexible working, around the sort of the team dynamics. And actually they worked for such a small proportion of the workforce. You see, everyone's lives are unique, they're individual, and we have to respect that. We have to recognise that when we're putting our own work-life balance thoughts together. So blanket solutions are also a problem when we start thinking about work-life balance. There are those who do think about work and life as being very distinct and very different. There are people who work to live, and you will have heard people say that. I work to earn money, to consolidate and to generate a solid career because I want to have a lifestyle. So I'm seeing work there as a purely functional thing that I'm doing to earn money. And that's absolutely fine. If that's how you define your life and that's how balance emerges for you, then it becomes obvious when it's imbalanced. Because if work is purely functional, you will probably resent the times when you have to put in more effort there than you would ideally like. However, you're probably going to put up with it because you see it as something that's enabling the rest of your life. You see, work is a lot like life itself. It's unpredictable. There are always changes happening around us. There are always plot twists. There are always those last minute requirements. It can feel like a bumpy ride at times. Sometimes it's going really smoothly, everything's working well, and then there's a bump in the road. There's what we call plot twists, as I mentioned, or there's those opportunities that appear out of nowhere and we're really excited about them. Or maybe we stumble upon a real passion. When that happens in our lives, we suddenly feel lightheaded and we feel like the main bunch of activities that we're involved in are almost insignificant, and we get wrapped up in this new passion. The same happens in work. There's a new project, there's a new activity, there's an opportunity for promotion, or there's an opportunity to build something that you've always wanted to do. And then you can get wrapped up in that, and it can derail your usual routine for a while. And in this way, work and life are exactly the same. So let's spend some time thinking about work-life balance and how we're going to build it. Are we going to build something that feels like it's balanced on a day by day by day basis? Or are we going to look at it strategically and think, as long as at the end of the year it feels like it was a relatively balanced year and I'm feeling excited about what's ahead, then maybe that might be good enough. So there are always those two ways of viewing work-life balance as well. So where do we start? We start by understanding who we want to be, what we would like to do, and what sort of things we might like to have in our lives. Seldom do people spend any time thinking about those things. We might think about the next thing we want to have, or we might think about the very next thing we want to do, like a holiday or a meal out. But very seldom do we think about, who do I want to be? And actually, that's much more important when it comes to thinking about balancing our lives. So this is why I created the L4 framework, to help people sit back, relax and reflect on, who do they want to be? What would they like to do? And what might they like to have as a result of all of that? So the Live, Love, Learn, Leave One Legacy framework, which you can find on my website, by the way, simonphillipstcm.com. You can get a free framework on there that will help you think this through in the ways that we're talking about today. Once you're clear on those things, who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you'd like to get from all of that. Once you're clear, then you can start to consider, is my life balanced in a way, or rather, is it aligned in ways that are going to help me achieve that? You see, life is always a balancing act. We're always going to have competing priorities. There are always going to be things that we'd love to do right now, but we sort of know they're not helping us as we move forward. And that's where that notion of delayed gratification comes in. We might need to put off something that we'd like to do now because there's something that we'd love to do even more in the future. So once we're clear on who we'd like to be and what we'd like to do, we can then start to piece together our life map. We can start to say, this is what I'm going to work on a day-to-day basis. If I'm going to be that person, does this job particularly meet that need, or do I need to start looking around? If I'm going to do the things that I would love to do, am I on the right trajectory? Are there other skills I need? And we talked about that in my episode all about upskilling and multiple streams of income. I might just need to expand to become that person that I see for myself. You see, life is only ever balanced when it's balanced your way. It's your life. Nobody else can tell you what balance should be. It always comes back to who you want to be and what you want to do. But I do want to have a think about how we ensure that the people around us feel equally comfortable that we're balancing our lives our way. Okay, I said earlier that there is another factor that we need to be aware of when thinking about how we're aligning our activity, the balance that we're creating in our lives, and that is other people. You see, unless we live as a hermit in the mountains with no dependents, with no friends or family, and nobody is relying on us to do anything, then the reality is the way we choose to balance our lives may well impact others. And so to make that as smooth, as understandable, and as frictionless as possible, it's a great idea to communicate regularly with the people around you what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to achieve right now. Now, I know that when you get excited about those passions in your life, it can be easy to forget everything almost around you and just get head down and thoroughly enjoy yourselves. But we need to raise our head every now and again and think, who is this impacting? Who do I need to ensure feels equally comfortable about the way that I'm balancing my life? And so we need to set up regular communication with family, with friends, with colleagues, if the passions that we're pursuing are in that work context, and equally, obviously, with our boss, if we have one. So let me go back to why all of those projects were so successful when we were working with individuals and helping them put their perfect work-life balance together. The reason they were successful is because the frameworks that we introduced and the guidelines didn't say everyone should do it this way. Instead, we said, how would you like life to be? How would work fit into everything else that you're doing? Effectively, we were creating tailored, personalized solutions. We were recognizing that everyone was different. Everybody had different challenges, different opportunities in their lives. And then we opened up the lines of communication. We helped individuals talk about what they were trying to achieve so that the people around them could get invested in that and could feel like they were contributing positively to their lives if they were able to support them in what they were trying to do. So you see, what worked was we were helping people balance their lives their way. And that's my challenge to you. Can you balance your life your way? If you can, I think you'll find that work-life balance matters. And another thing that matters to me right now is, can you smash the like button and share this with your friends? Because everybody needs a little bit of support when it comes to balancing out their lives and feeling more in control, feeling like life is fun. I hope you found this useful. I'll see you back here again next week.